Hi, my name is Michael Russ. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Beyond the 3D. As the international best-selling author of Zero Adversity, I am always on the lookout for people who have concepts and ideas and businesses that actually help others eliminate current and future adversity themselves. And today we have a very, very special guest, somebody who I've been wanting to have this discussion with in depth for some period of time. Her name is Angela Russ Ayon. No coincidence? Yes, she's my sister. However, she's also an amazing entrepreneur who has produced 18 music CDs with no prior musical experience whatsoever. She's also authored and published 5 books. Now, her area is early childhood development. Can you imagine? She's producing things that help children grow up to live a less adverse life by giving them the tools they need today to succeed. Angela is an award winner. She's the founder of abridgeclub.com, and you definitely want to check out this. And we're also going to go through one of her very short videos that she has on YouTube as well. So it's going to be an awesome conversation. How she got into the business, how she balances business, the hurdles that she's had that she's overcome in the business, and her current project, which is pretty darn amazing. She's just been an amazing inspiration to me for many, many, many years, and I love conversations with her, how we help each other, how we've helped each other as entrepreneurs over the past 20 years. Here's my conversation with Angela Russ Ayon, the founder of abridgeclub.com. Enjoy. Hi, this is Michael J. Russ again with Beyond the 3D, and I'm here with Angela Russ Ayon. The Russ, of course, meaning that she is kin folk. So anyway, Angela, how are you?
I'm great, Mike. Thanks for having me.
No, it's good. You're all the way across the country. I'm in Florida. You're in LA. This is the wonder of the digital age.
Yes, it is.
So you've got something called abridgeclub.com, and you started this, I don't know, it seems like 2 decades ago. Give us a little run into how you got into doing what you're doing.
Well, I started to, I was working for a furniture company. I was managing 2 territories, 15 years. And I was, actually, I got clinically depressed. At the end there, I was enjoying it when I started, but by the end, I was done with the sales goals, and I was finished with the annual rigmarole, and I was having a child. So I started doing research about how to get my child smarter and how to develop her brain and her body and to give her an edge. And I started making up songs. And over time, my friends would say, "Where'd you get that song?" My kids were singing a song. They said that you were with them, and what was that you were singing? And I said, "Well, I just made it up."
Yeah, but let's figure this out. Tim and I always had Tim, my brother, and I always had the musical background. You didn't have any. So what was up here with this? Where did this come from? Just out of thin air?
Well, I read a lot of research online about brain development and how you get your child to step up and how we get them ahead. And things started coming to me. Melodies would come to me in the shower while I was driving. Mm-hmm. So I started singing these melodies in the car and singing the songs and making up lyrics and looking at signs, and my children were responding. The children in the car were responding. So I just kept doing it. And then the parents kept saying, "Well, what are you doing? Well, where's the CD?" And I'm like, "I don't know anything about music." So I can't read a note. I can't play an instrument. And I said, "Well, I'll make something. I'll figure something out." So while I was working, I actually would work at night, and I would compose like Michael Jackson, Lionel Richie. Neither one of them can read music. And after I read that, I thought, okay, we can do this, right? Mm-hmm. So I started composing, and I made my first CDs in 2003.
Okay, but you had somebody you were taking who was actually doing the music for you. You'd give them the melody, and they would pick up and take care of it, right?
Just like Michael Jackson.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
I would sing the melody into the recorder, and I would give them the tempo, how fast I wanted the song to be, or slow. Uh-huh. And then he would make the music for me, and then I would take that music to the studio, and they would load the music, and I would record the song. That's how it worked.
Awesome. And you started with one, and then another,
And you what, enlisted everybody and his uncle to get on these CDs for you?
Yes, I was enlisted both of my brothers, as you know, for free because why pay them? And
Yeah.
I enlisted anyone I could to come up if someone played an instrument and they wanted to be on. I had a lovely Native American woman, Jackie Tehuka Nunez from San Juan Capistrano Mission. She wanted to put a song on. Anybody that wanted to contribute, and I basically started making CDs. I now have 18 CDs to my name.
Yeah, I know, but you've won some awards too, haven't you?
Lots of awards, Parents' Choice Awards, Early Childhood Education Awards. You know, you never think you're going to win, but you submit and think people appreciate your music. Most of my music is gross motor development, movement, and educational. So it's combining the movement, it's combining the education. It's interesting subjects, but we're moving the entire time. And that is what helps get the brain going, get the both halves firing over the corpus callosum. And that's why my music is so popular.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I know I had the opportunity to go to one of your events in Atlanta at the Omni. It's at a conference, and I was blown away by your energy and the crowd and how they were really getting into what you were doing, and loving it. Now you also do books.
I do.
Publish books,
I published two picture books with an independent publisher, and have since turned one into a Spanish version. And I've since self-published 2 books as well. I have this book this is a shapes and math and movement book. Every page is a move, and it's called When You Find Colors and Shapes. This version is in Spanish and English. I also have it in French and English. Very good friend is going to translate it into German. And my friend who illustrated my second picture book, We Love the Company, Table Manners, is going to translate it into Russian. So I have at least 4 picture books, and I just published Chalk It Up, which is an activity resource guide for parents, child care providers, and after-school play.
Chalk It Up. Now, give me an example of what somebody's going to do with that book. This is your latest one, Chalk It Up. I've never heard about this before, but let's say a parent just got the book. What did they actually do with it?
Well, I had so much fun making this one. It has lots of diagrams in it, and it's basically with a bucket of chalk. What can you do with a child? A bucket of chalk, you can get it at 99-cent store, okay? Next door, we have a 4- and a 3-year-old who are adorable. And I'll give you an example. Last weekend, they were out there putting with their little golf clubs and their little plastic balls.
Yeah.
And they were trying to figure out where they're going to putt to. And I was leaving to go get my son. And I said, hey, Clay, why don't you draw a putting green on the sidewalk? And then their target can be the hole, whatever the hole is.
Cool.
And so by the time I got back, he had the putting green, the sand pit, he had a little pond, he had bushes, he had the whole green, he had the hole, and he had drawn the flag, all with the chalk. It was absolutely adorable. So I had to take a picture.
That is cool.
In the book, it's one of the things in the book. The book has a court section where you can draw a tennis court with chalk. You can draw the putting green. You can draw a volleyball court. You can draw a baseball diamond and play with kids in a basketball court and play with kids just on a flat surface with chalk.
That's awesome. It's so simple. It's so inexpensive to do. And it's a way for parents and their children to get involved, and also, the inspiration, the creativity, the imagination of you can let it run wild with the various colors and where you are, right? And of course, it doesn't destroy anything.
Vitamin D. They're getting their vitamin D outside if they're able to go out. There are a lot of families who cannot go outside and play because it's dangerous. But if they're able to go out and play or find a tarmac, I call it, some concrete somewhere, steps, bricks. With just a simple piece of chalk, then you have the vitamin D, you have fresh air, hopefully, you have a much more space to play, less noise restriction. There's so many benefits to chalk activities. I did not see a book online about it. I did see a small little guide with a bucket, but I did not see a book like mine that has over 180 activities.
Well, one other thing too, in this digital age, a lot of kids are spending time indoors, and this gets them outside in the fresh air as well. It gets them away from the computer and the video games, and into something old school, which we used to do as a kid, which is you know, even if it's just a hopscotch thing you're putting together with the various.
Exactly.
It's something, right?
It's something.
So yeah. So you do your research. You do your research. You see what's out there. It's kind of a find a need and fill it. Find a gap and fill it.
Yes, but you know, there are even, I have a ballet series too. That's a beginning ballet series, and everyone told me that's ridiculous. Bolshoi has ballet instructional videos. How are you going to compete with a Bolshoi? And I said, you know, what I'm interested in is telling the common man, how do you dress your child up for ballet and take a simple ballet class? So I took the syllabus from UCI and I designed a ballet. I hired a teacher and I said, here, let's film this. And that DVD has been selling steadily. I think basically you have to look at what's out there and how can you do it differently and how can you do it better. And maybe there's a niche out there that, you know, obviously there were a lot of parents who were intimidated by a Bolshoi DVD. They just wanted something simple and something basic.
I think you're right.
So that's kind of how I approach things. The chalk idea, I've always wanted to do it. I just never took the time. And so I actually took 2 months and I just started writing and I ended up with 180 activities, over 180 activities.
Wow. That is pretty amazing. How did you balance, you know, your creative spirit and ideas and entrepreneurialism after you left Brooke with your family, with your kids?
Well, it's very hard, but what I try to do is the children get home at a certain time. Now, my son is now 15, my daughter's in college, but when they got home, that was the dedicated time to be with them. They're doing their homework, so sometimes they're doing homework and I'm working. And then after that, it's, you want to watch a movie with me, Mom? Or do you want to go out to outside and do something, Mom? Or let's take a walk with Ziggy the dog. And so we would find the time to be together. And honestly, I work mostly when they're asleep. As soon as they hit the bed, I hit the desk and I start writing, creating. If I'm in the car, I record melodies that I like. In the middle of the night, sometimes I wake up and I make notes. So that's when I do most of my developing. But mostly I set aside the time I still do, even at 15. He works on his homework. I work on my projects. As soon as he gives me a green light, we'll sit down and binge watch something, or we'll take the dog for a walk down to the yogurt shop. Right. And so that's how I do it.
I think it's a common balance that you've been able to create in life without keeping your eye on all the balls at the same time, which is really, really cool. Marcos is a very, very bright young man, and obviously Giselle in college has both of them have turned out to be 4.0, 4.1 students. I mean,
yes, all the way graduated.
Yeah,
graduated with the gold robe in 4.0, and Marcos has a 4.0 as a second semester sophomore. And I have to assume that moving and getting their brains firing very young and understanding how this happens. And I'm still learning. My new math workshop, I just presented a keynote up in Stanislaus. That math workshop is teaching me things I didn't know. And I wish I could go back, step backwards in time and say, oh, I wish I'd known this when Giselle and Marcos were young, because that's something else I could have done. You're learning every day.
Well, you have a math book, am I right? Or math?
I have the picture book that about shapes is my math book. It is about finding shapes and colors, and once you do, you do a move. So if, let's say, you find a red square, then you spin, and when you spin you turn the page and you see that the shapes have moved into a circle. So centrifugal force has sent the shapes around into a circle. So it's a little bit of math and it's a little bit of science. What happens when we move this way is what it is. You find the shape or the color and you move a certain way. It's a very simple picture book, but I just hadn't taken the time to put it on paper.
That is absolutely, I don't know. I think what comes to mind when I talk with you about this sort of thing is that when you're involved in something that you're passionate about, that you're very close to, it actually, the creativity, the inspiration is there. It's always there. I know I wake up in the middle of the night too. I got to write some things down. We both produce audiobooks and CDs. How difficult was it for you to learn how to produce your first music CD?
Well, I had Tim, my older brother, our older brother, and he introduced me to the studio he used and the people he worked with. And he met me the first day that I was there and helped out. And so it wasn't that hard, actually. All the people, he connected me with everyone. I had that going for me. And then I had to learn a lot once I got to the studio about how to make my voice sound better and what the technician was capable of in helping me improve,
Right.
and things like that. But it wasn't really that hard. Everything today even is a learning process because technology is always changing.
That's true.
And there's so many social media things that you should be connected to, and this author's pod and this place, and as one person running my business, I'm it. I don't have the time.
Join the club.
To keep up with so much, keep up with everything. Basically.
It's true. It's true. When we're by ourselves, I produce audiobooks too. I had a similar experience where back in California when I was there producing my first first CD. I found a studio. It was a guy who did he did rap artists and hip hop in the evening. He had a bunch of bands come in. He'd rent out rooms for practice, and then he'd do their CDs. And he was very inexpensive per hour, because some of these studios can run $70 to $100 an hour, which can be a little bit, expensive if you're just starting to get off the ground. However, we both, I think where there's a will is a way. When you're involved in the right thing, when you're doing what you're meant to do, it seems less like work and more like just creative flow.
It does. And, my entire beginning of my CD career was financed by no interest credit cards. I never got a business loan. I just continued to roll over one balance to the next on no interest, 6 months to a year credit cards. So I was able to finance my business. And when I really started rolling was when I started speaking and keynoting and doing workshops all over the nation. Mm-hmm. That's when things started really picking up, because people would say, where'd you get this music? And I didn't really promote the music in my workshops. I used a song, maybe 4 songs in an hour and a half, and people would come to the table just for 1 CD or 2, and then things started to pick up. And so I eventually was able to get completely out of debt. But most people would have to have gotten a loan, $100,000, $200,000 loan to make this happen. But I was lucky. I also had the support of my husband. That helps. That
does help. Well, if you got a supportive spouse or significant other, I think it's actually awesome. I have a supportive significant other as well. Here's the interesting thing, though. CDs, you produced the audiobooks. You went out. You started doing conferences. Let's get this square. Not only do you have no formal musical training whatsoever, none. You got less than Michael Jackson had. You got less than Michael Jackson had, and a whole heck of a lot less than Lionel Richie, okay? Just because you can't read music, and I can't either, doesn't mean yet, but you have none. You had none. You had no singing in high school, no singing in college, no singing anywhere. We had all that talent. We were out there doing stuff, playing in bands and stuff like that, yet you make the most incredible music CDs out there. I was just astounded by the way you put together these rhymes, these rhythms, and how you tied them to early child development skills. To me, it's just absolutely awesome. Now, let me get one other thing straight. You have this wasn't your educational background, right?
No, my background, I got a business degree out of Long Beach State in marketing, so that's helped.
Mm-hmm.
I did have 2 or 3 years of piano lessons when I was very, very young, but I never picked up on it. I couldn't read the notes. I guess I was just one of those people that you look at those black dots and they just look like black dots.
Yeah, black dots.
So
but try to sit me down for 6 months of those things too. I couldn't deal with it. I was more into beating on drums.
Right. And I was lucky to be surrounded by people who knew and who know, and I call them my people, people. And that would include the graphic artist that does my covers, the engineer that does my sound, the gentleman that does my music. I was lucky the printers that replicated my CDs. I was lucky to have people, all knowledgeable people who I depended on, and that's how I made it happen. I asked a lot of questions. I still do. I'm still trying to make get the storage down to minimum and shipping down to minimum, and not have to invest so much in replication. Initially, when we first started this business, I've done over $1 million in sales, $1.5 million in sales since 2003. And when I first started this business, you know, you had to order 1,000 CDs minimum. You couldn't order 500. If you want to make a quality CD, you could burn them, but nobody could play them on anything.
Right.
So, you know, when I first started, it was a big investment, and now it's gotten a little bit better, but then now you're competing with downloads.
That's true too. Well, you know, there is that digital age. I mean, I still, a lot of people, the people that buy my audiobooks, they love listening to them in the car. And, you know, of course, not all the cars are equipped with, you know, we can connect it up to my iPhone, Samsung, whatever.
Right.
So having a physical CD still is king in many cases, and is actually more mobile and stuff. And there's different generations that act differently or interact differently with this. Now, there's obviously going to be some millennial moms that are going to come across this video or this podcast. Tell me, you know, how do millennial moms interact with what you've got? Because I know they're going to be really, really interested in this. You have downloads, music downloads on, what is it, CD Baby?
I do. I have a link from my website, which is abridgeclub.com.
Right.
And the CD Baby offers a complete CD download. I only have 4 CDs that I offer a song download on. Most people end up buying an entire CD because they want their children to have the whole experience anyway. But 99 cents, for those of people who don't know, a 99-cent song nets an artist 30 cents.
True.
And so I can't eat on 30 cents. So I decided to only allow a full download or nothing. So CD Baby carries all 18, I think 17 right now are downloadable. And then you can download to an iPod or wherever you want. You can purchase a download, or you can go to bridgeclub.com. It'll link to that, or you can buy it and we'll send you a CD and you can load it yourself. That's how it works.
You're also on Amazon too. Does CD Baby give you a digital download on Amazon as well?
Yes, all of my titles are on Amazon.com. So if you see anything on the website, you just want to go to Prime, then you can go and see if the title's offered through Prime.
That's absolutely awesome. You know, you've been inspirational to me. I'm always in awe of the creativity that you put forth. I mean, I don't know, I've got 6 CDs and you've got 18. So obviously you're a little more prolific, but I'm writing books and you're writing songs. It's a whole different ball.
Right. Books take a lot more time.
Oh, yeah, they do. They take a whole lot more time. But the bottom line here is this. I think there's 2 consistent themes that I'm picking up here. If I rise above this whole thing like this, you know, beyond the 3D is that when you're in a positive I'm doing mode, the resources come to you. The resources are there because you can see them, because you're in that mode. You're out looking. You've got a heightened sense of awareness about them.
Yes.
And so you find the person who can help with the music. You run across somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody, and you can contact them, and it can all happen. It can all come together, which is, I mean, we use the same graphic artist. We use different studios. I have a studio behind me for all my podcasts and stuff, and I started using studios, and now I record everything in a closet. All my audiobooks, the last 3 of them were done at home in a closet. Then I took them to a studio to save money.
Right. Well, I fix my CDs that way. If I fix a song that might have the volume too high, but I want a soundproof room, and I want someone who can change that C to a D or whatever.
Exactly.
Tell me that I'm off key.
Thank goodness for Pro Tools. Don't know how to use it, but it's magic.
I need the professional, and so I do it that way. But I also need to balance all the instruments and master the CD. And I'm not a master person, but I can tell you what I like. And I use a lot of sound effects, and all that has to be laid in. And so I found an affordable studio in the Valley that I utilize. It takes me an hour to get there and an hour to get home. But I like this gentleman, and he's a family man, and he has a family also. So he does a lot of rap, but he thinks I'm, you know, when I come in there, he just laughs because he can't even believe that I'm making money doing what I'm doing. But we have a really good time.
That's absolutely insane. It's true though. Hey, you get passionate about something, get your heart in it, everything happens. The other theme that runs through all this, and I did it I kind of talked about it in the introduction, is, you know, I'm all about eliminating adversity, present and future. And when, you know, you're Marcus and Giselle, your kids are a living example of when you get the right foundation from a child development perspective, that you can help eliminate a lot of future adversity.
Yes, yes.
So,
And, you know, I have a fear of public speaking, and I speak all over the country. So there's a
really?
lot. Yes, I'm physically ill before I speak. And I just, like I said, I spoke to 300 people this past weekend. And I use tools and relaxation, meditation, stretching, and I don't eat breakfast before I speak. But once I start speaking, then I'm fine. But up to that point, you know, getting there, am I going to get there on time? Am I going to get lost? You know, is the plane going to be delayed? Is the plane going to be flight going to be canceled? All those things affect me. And I've never missed a workshop that was my fault, where somebody hadn't scheduled me. One told me I was one time and ended up changing it, forgot to mention it to the speaker, kind of thing. But I've never missed a presentation, and that's something that I pride myself on. I haven't had any emergencies or any reason to miss, and I've had good support at home. You know, adversity comes from stressful issues that can affect you at home. You know, maybe the child gets sick and you're on your way out the door. I mean, if something's going to happen, it's going to happen. You know
there are all those issues. You know, stress is the extension of distress. You're trying to control things you can't control. And
right.
Obviously, you can't control the health of a child. You can just do what you can do, and you have to, you know, allow things to just kind of take their course. And,
yes.
You know, but you know, trying to make it happen can lead to that physical stress. Interestingly enough, when you mentioned that about you're having an issue with sort of stage fright, that you were the only one in the family who didn't, at an early age, get in front of an audience. I did, Tim did. Right. You know, we grew up that way, playing and performing in front of people. So when we step in front of a crowd, be it him talking at a Trek convention or me just talking at an event to a company or to people of any particular kind, university students, I have no problem. I walk out there and it's like, oh, it's old home week. So
right.
Even after all these talks that you've given, you still have these issues that you deal with, huh?
Well, the other thing I did not share is that when I had my daughter, I had a lack of oxygen issue to the brain. So from the day that, I don't even think I've ever told you this, from the day before she was born to the day after she was born, I have a lot of short-term memory loss.
Really?
So I rely heavily on imagery.
Who am I?
Pardon?
Oh, just kidding.
I rely heavily on imagery in my PowerPoints to evoke an idea or thought, or, you know, remind me of something to say. So, you know, I stress out about the fact that, well, what if my PowerPoint doesn't work? Well, what if the laptop doesn't work? What if the laptop doesn't communicate with the PowerPoint? All that's going on.
Oh, yeah.
As well as trying to get to the event. You know, once I've got the laptop going and the PowerPoint, and that's why I get so relaxed. It's like, okay, I have it. I just have to look at a picture and then I know what to say. Exactly. And so, and my presentations are very popular because of the imagery, but they don't realize that the reason that I need the imagery is to remember what to say. So, so there's that memory problem. And I think you have to, I did sing in a choir when I was young. I sang in the gospel choir. I sang in the gospel choir, and
we both did. Yeah, we did. Yeah.
I did have some times when I was out in front of people, but not the sole focus being on me, and you know, with 300 people looking at you, waiting for the next idea or thought to come.
Interesting. I'll tell you. No, I didn't know that, but you know, I mean, I think you've handled it well. You know, whatever you've dealt with, I mean, you've followed through with whatever you needed to do, and you didn't let it stop you, which is really, you know, the biggest kudo here is that you didn't let it stop you. You understand it, and you take it into consideration, and you just go out and you found a way around, you know, that I call it, you know, that end run, that the end around that gets you where you need to be. And everybody takes a different place. Now you've got this new book. Your newest book is the chalk book. Show it real quick again, because this is really
chalk it up. Huh? Well, I just found out that I can actually, even though it's a black and white book on the inside, it's all black and white on the inside.
Right.
I found out that the cover can be in color, and I did not know that, because Amazon.com's Create Space doesn't really share that information. But when I discovered that my logo was in color. I realized I the whole thing. So I've redesigned the whole cover to be color. All these are color images, and I've redesigned it to be color. So then this is the galley, what's called the galley, which is your proof.
Right.
And
galley proof.
I've gone through and corrected things and fixed things. And the print run, the first print run will probably be in the next week or so.
Now that particular book is not available anywhere right now, right?
No, but it will be on Amazon.com because CreateSpace publishes straight to Amazon.
Straight to Amazon.
So
they'll be able to go on. They'll be able to look up, either type in your name, Angela. Is it Angela Russ Ayon, or how are you going?
It's Angela Russ Ayon. Yes.
Okay, Ayon, and I'll make sure that that we get that out there in the copy. That's awesome. I can simply tell you that this has been, an amazingly fruitful experience for me, because we don't usually take the time to talk about, the wheres and the why fors. But I think your story is unique. Your story is one that a lot of sidepreneurs, mommypreneurs, I think would get a lot from. And definitely knowing about your books and your CDs, I can't see how a child can't be successful if they have the right,
the right tools,
foundation, right? The right tools.
It's not very difficult. When you're moving at early age, you're engaging with the child, not in a container, not in a bounce seat or a crib. You engage with the child with facial expressions and look at you and aren't you pretty and pat a cake and peekaboo and you're doing all that, and the child is literally firing across their corpus callosum. Both sides of the brains both sides of the brain are connecting and they're firing. And the more you have that happen before age 7, the better off your child is going to be in the long run. That includes music and movement and interaction with an adult caregiver. And if you're at work, then the person that you leave your child with needs to know that you want that kind of interaction. And so once that's taken care of, you've got that through the age of 7, then after that, you've got the kinesthetic learning, the touching, the feeling, the experimenting, instead of just book learning, and asking a lot of open-ended questions. Why do you think that is? And what would happen if, and that type of thing, because that's what makes the child think and process and do more critical thinking than just, I studied this, Mom, and I got an A. See, there's a difference between counting from objects from 1 to 20 and looking at a jar and saying, how can I get more than 20 in here? See, that's the difference.
There's a distinctive difference. Now you have a YouTube channel as well, A Bridge Club, right? A Bridge Club, all one word.
A Bridge Club. Well, a lot of people think we're playing cards, but initially it was for abridged books, because initially I was going to write abridged books, but I decided not to do that for some reasons that we won't go into.
Well, that's okay. We queued up a video. Kind of give us a little rundown of this 2-minute video that we queued up, because I want to screen share this to give people an idea of what this is about.
Absolutely. Well, Head Start had flown me out to Washington I was already in one of their programs, I Am Moving, I Am Learning, which is called IMIL. And they had flown me out to Washington, D.C. to present a program for the younger set. IMIL was for preschool. Little Voices, Healthy Choices was going to be for toddlers and infants. And so I designed some music. They asked me to come out, and I designed 2 CDs for them, Smart and Yummy. Smart and Tasty was the other series. And so Smart and Yummy, the first song on the CD, the cover song is Does a Pumpkin Pump for Smart and Yummy 1. And I found some children at a soccer game, and I played the song for them, and they said, oh, you want to do it? So I offered to let them hear it, and I asked if I could film it. And because it's very difficult to get children on film, you've got to get a release, and it's just really hard to do unless you've got lots of time. And so I filmed it, and so this is the result of them goofing off at the soccer game.
Well, let's do this. Let's check this out. Let me get the screen share happening here and make this happen. Okay, there we go. Let's get it on the big screen, and let's make this thing run, huh? Here it is. Does a pumpkin pump?
Does a pumpkin pump?
Does a pumpkin pump?
So they're squatting, going up and down, pumping
Up and down before your eyes.
Does a raisin rise? You're rising
Does a raisin rise?
right on up into the sky. Does a turnip turn?
Does a turnip turn?
Front to back or side to side? Oh, 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 I don't know. I kind of think so. Oh, 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 I don't know. I kind of think so. Does a pumpkin pump?
Does a pumpkin pump?
Up and down before your eyes? Does a raisin rise?
Does a raisin rise?
Right on up into the sky? Does a turnip turn?
Does a turnip turn?
Front to back or side to side? Oh, 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 I don't know. I kind of think so. Oh, 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 I don't know. I kind of think so.
Oh my gosh, that's
Those are
awesome.
sisters. They're so adorable. They're three sisters.
They were having one heck of a good time though.
They sure
You know,
were.
music, there's music there, there's movement there, there's a theme there. It gets them active. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's absolutely awesome. You got a lot of, how many videos do you have?
I don't have enough. Is it still on? I don't have enough. I have a lot of footage and not enough time to get it all edited, and I edit it myself. So I have a DVD that's going to be coming out that shows a lot of the songs and activities on the DVD. And then I also produced music for a WIC women infant children a DVD that I distribute for them.
Interesting. There's some music still playing in the background, which I think is really cool because it gives an example of some of your songs. Now listen, wonderful, cdbaby.com. You can go Amazon.com. You get these things downloaded, all these things. It's pretty darn amazing. And I know that everybody here is going to really, everybody who watches and listens to this is going to have an absolutely wonderful time with your music, especially if they have no kids. It's great. It's a great present to give somebody who's got children, and it's great for your own children. So
I say, look, it's a birthday party. Give them a song. Give them each family a CD instead of a goodie bag full of a bunch of toys and junk. And give them a gift of music instead. Especially if you're up until age 6 or so, 7 or so. I go from birth to first grade, basically.
Awesome. Well, listen, thank you so much for being with me, Angela. Angela Russ from abridgeclub.com. It's been wonderful, and I'll be seeing you soon the next holiday.
Yes. Thanks for having me, Mike.
Take care of yourself.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.